चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवारि सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेशा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा बिराजे, कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई, तुम प्रिय भरतहि सब भाई। सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जब कुबेर जिक पाल जहाते, कभी कोबिद कहि सके कहते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाए राजपत दीना। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मैली मुख माहि, जल्दी लागी गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। तब सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्तर धरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो 7 बार पाठ करे कोई, छूटहि बंधि महा सुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होए सिद्ध साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवतरे संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। जय Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. Today, the much awaited time where we are going to start chapter 2 has come. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, where Shri Krishna finally breaks his silence and talks to Shri Arjun. Why was he silent all this while? Because Shri Arjun had not surrendered yet. Tarak arguments. There is something called arguments, and there is something called doubt, and there is something called curiosity. When we are arguing, we are not in a receptive state, right? Then when we are doubting, again we are not in the receptive state. But when we are curious, or probably we have a jigyasa, then we are in a receptive state. And till the student is ready, till the student has emptied himself of whatever baggage, whatever doubts he was carrying, how can new knowledge be filled? It's like a catch-22, isn't it? Lord actually starts talking when your efforts become effortless. Yes. Arjun is a great sadhak. Geeta is a book which tells us how to lead our life, how to live in this world, how to live to attain liberation, how to live to surrender to the Lord. This is not a text which is just has been randomly put in front of us to solve our problems or material benefits can be gained by this. Aisa nahi hai. None of our scriptures are meant for that. Yes, by going through the scriptures, by understanding the ways, we can progress in life much better because all the dissipation stops. Just like in Arjun, he is having Vishad right now, grief, agony. Most of the time, we are filled with grief and agony. Hamesha. Is there a time where there is no grief and agony in us? Momentarily also, way behind, deep in our hearts, there is a kind of a vacuum always. And all that we do throughout our life is to attain peace. We seek peace outside, we seek happiness outside. However, peace and happiness can be found only within. And that one place we never look at. And Arjun over here, when he got engrossed in this world, in spite of years and years and years of sadhana. He is Gudakesh. He has full control over his senses. He has control over Nidra. He has control over all his karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. However, right now, when he mingled in the world, he came in the clutches of the Maya again. However, the beauty is, when we go through chapter 1, we realize that no matter how pathetic his situation is getting, one thing he is not letting go of is Sri Krishna. He is not talking to the world. He is not talking to his neighbors. He is not calling his parents. He is not talking to his brothers. He is not talking to his friends. He is not talking to anybody. Every grief, every doubt, every question, every agony, everything that is making him sorrowful is being presented in front of Sri Krishna, and only Sri Krishna is being asked for the solution. Nobody else. Hence, when the calling is so strong, the Lord gets compelled to answer. Because the calling is so strong, because the distraction is not there, because the faith in the Lord, in spite of the multitudes of problems which are coming, has not been shaken. लोग तो बोलते हैं हमारा तो भगवान से भरोसा उठ गया. The minute they are faced with a problem, the first thing they'll say is, what God? We don't believe in God. We prayed so much. We tried so much. We've always been good in our lives. Yet, God has always caused problems and obstacles. Hence, हमारा भगवान से भरोसा उठ गया है. We don't have faith in the Lord anymore. Full stop. There ends their journey. And the Lord says, Tathastu, no problem. If you think I'm not capable, so be it. Over here, in spite of that magnitude of problems, Arjun, did he not face enough and many problems? From the time when Pandu had to go to the jungle where they were raised, they lost their father, they came back, they lost their kingdom. Again, Draupadi, how Draupadi and everybody else was treated. And again, in the end, they were not given their rightful place. Not even 5 villages Duryodhan was willing to give them. So it is not that Arjun did not have fair share of problem, yet when given a choice, he said, I choose the Lord, not the material world. That kind of adig Vishwas, unshaken faith in the Lord is needed. And this scripture is the scripture of a sadhak. Geeta is what happens to a spiritual devotee who has actually tried a lot, given it all he can, and then he feels the light fade away. What happens? Suppose we want to see the stars, right? Can we see the stars clearly in a city? No, right? It is difficult because of the bright lights that surround the city and the pollution that surrounds the city. It does not mean that the stars and the planets and the celestial things are not there in the sky. However, because we are in the city, we are unable to see them. So what happens is we move away from the city. We move away from the city and we leave the light and the pollution of the world because we want to see the celestial things in the sky, like celestial bodies in the sky. And then we wait. There will be a time when there will be darkness everywhere because we have left the brightness and the shining glory of the material world, of the city, yet it is not time yet for the stars to start showing because the sun is still there, Somewhere it is not that bright, but the sun is still there. Till it becomes pitch dark. The glory of the beautiful celestial bodies in the sky cannot be seen. that phase when the brightness of the material world has been left behind and the light of the spiritual world has not yet come to be seen, is the period where a devotee like Arjun starts to tremor. He says, I have left everything and I have not reached the Lord yet. What if I never do? What will happen to me? And this is what is Arjun's Vishad for. Now, what is our Vishad for? Is something that we need to ask ourselves. And time and again, when we were working on chapter 1, we kept saying, please refer back to chapter 16, where you can analyze your vasanas and vrittis and vices and virtues. Go one by one, step by step while reading the verses and internalize them. Analyze yourself based on those verses. Chapter 1 is essential because it builds a foundation to understand where we stand or what the scripture is eventually going to answer. It is not an introductory chapter. It is the foundation stone of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1. And we realized in that initially we saw Duryodhan and how he was approaching the senior members in his army. Then we were given the description of this side and that side of the army, like the Pandav army and the Kaurav or the Duryodhan side of the army. And later in verse 20, and before that, not only the description, the different shanks and what happened, what was the power, what was the strength of each and every warrior, everything was described. And after that, from verse 20, Geeta actually starts, where Shri Krishna takes Arjun gradually to the middle of the battlefield. And there, in the midst of the battle, the doubts start arising. See, always remember, when everything is nice and beautiful, there is nothing to question, isn't it? If everything is going in our favor, we would not have too many doubts and questions. It is when the situations are not in our favor that we start questioning even our own existence. We need that kind of a situation to question. And this is exactly what happened to Arjun. And he not only questioned from the physical perspective, he questioned from the spiritual perspective, he questioned from the dharmic perspective, he questioned from the intellectual perspective, he even questioned from the mental perspective. All. He talked about a lot of situations. Each and every question of Arjun is worth pondering on. How do we ponder on it? By introspecting ourselves. Okay, with this regard, where do I stand? With that regard, where do I stand? Because this is my human manual. This is going to tell me how I should lead my own life. So that is Vishad. When there is, that is why Ma Kunti says, right, please give me sorrows, please give me troubles and obstacles so that I always think about you. So with that, chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita comes to an end. Chapter 2 is Sankhya Yoga. What is Sankhya Yoga? Sankhya Yoga, to generally put, is the chapter of true knowledge, right knowledge. We all have knowledge. Now it is debatable whether the knowledge is right or wrong, the knowledge is true or not. That is a topic of great debate. This chapter tells us, or begins to tell us, or gives us a framework or a background of what true knowledge is. We normally make decisions based on our knowledge, isn't it? Based on what we have learned, based on what we think is good or bad. All that we do in the world around us is based on our knowledge. Knowledge is the precedent to action. Isn't it true? It is the precedent to action, the way in which we have to behave, conduct ourselves in this world. The method of action is the knowledge thereof. Theory and practice go together. Knowledge and action are inseparable. Yoga is not merely action in the common sense meaning of the term, but action proceeding from the being of a person, and the action becoming more and more comprehensive and complete as the dimension of being expands itself gradually in the process of the practice of yoga. This is written by Swami Krishnanand. Basically, he is saying that everything we do is based on our knowledge. जितनी हमारी समझ होगी उतना ही तो हम करेंगे ना. समझ ही नहीं होगी तो क्या करेंगे? So how we act in the world depends on the subtle knowledge that we possess. And this knowledge is given to us by situations, conditioning of our parents and our environment. They condition us, right? What we are thought to be right or wrong by people, situations, people we come across, probably the teachers, where we grow up, that also tells us what is right or wrong. So this knowledge that we act on a day-to-day basis is a very subjective knowledge. What is subjective? It is dependent on a lot of factors like where we are brought up, who has raised us, what was their thought process, what situations have arisen in our life, which country do we come from, which country we are residing in, what is our peer circle, so on and so forth. So this is a very subjective kind of knowledge. Is it true or not? What is considered right here in one country could be considered wrong in another country, right? If you go to India and you leave food on your plate, it will be considered a insult that the food was not good. You go to Japan or China and you don't finish. If you finish the food on your plate, it is considered an insult that you finished the food. So you are supposed to leave a little bit saying that yes, I'm content and full. This is just simple basic example. There are many, many examples of such. So what is right knowledge then? That is what Geeta tells us. That is what Sankhya Yoga is all about. Again, let us think about the rules that govern a city. We have rules that we follow in our family. We have rules that we follow in our kul probably. There are rules that we follow in a city. Guidelines are given. There are certain rules and guidelines by which you have to live in a country, and there are certain rules and guidelines by which you have to live in the world, right? If we break the rules and guidelines of various places, we are punishable somewhere by the family and somewhere by law. In the same way, there are rules that govern our lives from that divine perspective also. Just because we don't know them, just because we don't follow them, just because we think they don't exist, that does not make them non-existent. They are, and accordingly, we are being judged, whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not. There are certain points, there are certain ways in which we are expected to behave. I'll take a very simple example, okay? What, according to you, is considered your responsibility? Please answer this question yourself. What, according to, is your responsibility? Who are you responsible for? Now, as per our Shastras, all the Shastras tell us that we have various responsibility. We are not only responsible for our family. There is no mention over there. Yes, we are. But still, we are responsible to the humans, fellow human beings. We are responsible to our ancestors. We are responsible towards the gods and the deities in the heaven. We are responsible to the elevated sages, the Brahmins, the knower of the Brahman. Not only this, we are responsible to the beasts and the animals and the plants also. whether we know it or not. This is the 5 thing, very, very broadly put, that we are supposed to be responsible to. Think about it. So if we are not following these 5 things, what happens? Even though we are not following it because of ignorance, but that does not mean that that knowledge is not available. Now, Geeta and Sankhya Yoga tells us a lot about true knowledge. The initial 10 verses, they talk about the total surrender of Arjun, how Arjun totally surrenders to Sri Krishna. After that, the verses start talking about Sankhya philosophy. Then they talk about the path of yoga, karma yoga. And then they talk about bhakti yoga. And then they talk about sannyas. Broadly, or it can be said that initially surrender, then the rules of lives are presented of different paths. The characteristics of people who are sthit are also given. This is also a gist. Basically, it is the gist of all the laws. It is not the detailed law, but it is like a comprehensive guide with a summary of what we should expect to behave like, what we should expect to act like, what we should expect in the form of true knowledge. And later on, through various verses, it is elaborated because Arjun did not understand. He was still not convinced. And it is okay. In our scriptures, in our dharma, it is encouraged that we ask questions. It is encouraged that we understand before we believe. There is no room for blind faith. Over here, though Arjun will surrender, he will question the Lord also. And the Lord will patiently answer. He will keep answering till Arjun understands. There is no space for blind faith. And that is Sankhya Yoga. Now let's try to understand from one more perspective what Sankhya Yoga is. Okay? Now, for instance, I am a farmer and I am planting crops, right? And after the crops have been planted and then I harvest it, and I feel that because of all my effort, because of all my effort, it is me who is responsible or who is rightly rightly deserves all the benefits of the effort because it was me who planted the crops. But is it true? Is it true that I deserve the fruits of all the crops or all the effort? I deserve all the money. I deserve all the credit because of the crops and the harvesting. Is it true? Is it true? It is not. Suppose a lot of effort, the same amount of effort, had been put in and it did not rain. Will the crops grow? Same amount of effort would have put in, but the insects ate away the crops. Will the crops grow? The same amount of effort was put in, but through nature there was a fire. Will the crops grow? The same amount was put in. However, the soil was not fertile enough. Will the crops grow? The same amount was put in. However, the seeds were not given. The seeds which I bought were not good enough. Will the crops grow properly? And so on and so forth. Now, how much of the fruit of labor do I deserve? Think about it. It's not only me anymore, isn't it? The rains, the soil, the winds, every bit of it had a role to play. Silently, probably. Everything had a role to play in the crops coming up. How can I claim the full fruit? But through ignorance, we end up saying that I have put in so much effort. I have done so and so. I worked so hard. I deserve. Are bhai, nothing worth achieving in life is ever achieved alone. There is nothing called a self-made man or a self-made woman. I'm sorry to say that. Multiple things around us, multiple elements in the universe, multiple people, multiple situations make us achieve what we achieve in life. It is the ignorant who say that I did it all by myself. Foolish. And once you understand that everything that has come your way is not yours alone, is not a result of your effort alone. Knowingly or unknowingly, a lot has gone in for you to reach that point. You would never have that karta bhav, the doership, nor would you have that bhokta bhav where you say, I am going to get the fruits of my action, where the action was not totally yours. What right do you have over the fruit? So, this is true knowledge. We have to expand our thinking. We have to think beyond. Now, suppose because I am a human, today when I start thinking, I think of gods also in a human form. I think of everything from the way I am. In the same way, a cow will think the god has a cow form. A pig will think the god looks like a pig. Because that is how we have constrained our outlook. कुएं का मेंढक होता है ना, he feels that the entire world exists in that well only. The frog who lives in a well considers the well to be the world, the universe, the multiverse, and that is what has happened to us. Now this Sankhya Yoga, true knowledge, tries to open up our mind to the various realities of this world. And then it says, now act in this world, now talk in this world, now walk in this world with this true knowledge. Think about it. Isn't it true? The more we know, the more informed we are about the reality, the more informed and better our actions would be. Yes, we can choose to use the same reality in the negative way. Nobody is stopping us. Many of the Danavs and the Rakshasas have done it. But that's a different story. Let's not get there. So, this is the beauty. Think about it. This is what Geeta is about. It will put us face to face with reality. Sankhya, true knowledge, yoga, connection. It will connect us through the true knowledge. Yoga is connection, true knowledge. For that, the likes of Arjun surrendered at the feet of the Lord. Only then did he start talking. Otherwise, why would he talk? See, the Lord does not act. He does not act. He just guides. Suppose we are on a journey and we are going to Kedarnath. But by chance, because of some distraction or some wrong reading of the map, we start going in the opposite direction. Will we reach Kedarnath? No, because we are moving away from Kedarnath. We are not going towards Kedarnath. However, on the road, somebody looks at us and says, oh, where are you going? And we say, we are going to Kedarnath. He says, no, but Kedarnath is in the opposite direction. You are walking away from Kedarnath. You are not walking towards Kedarnath. And then he shows us the right direction. He shows us the right direction, and then it is our choice. If we start walking towards Kedarnath, God willing, we will reach. If we still are adamant and we do not walk towards Kedarnath, we will reach wherever we are destined to reach. See, this is all that God does. Time and again, whether we realize it or not, just like He is there, ready to guide Arjun, He is standing there, ready to guide us also. But the problem is, we are not willing to take the counsel of the Lord. Once, it's a very cute story. Once Ma Lakshmi and Vishnuji were sitting in Vaikuntha, and she was looking down, looking at everybody, all the creatures, all the beings, all alike to her, because she thinks that everybody has that same divine glow in them. She's the mother of all, and she suddenly looked at the pigs. They were eating rotten food. They were all dirty, rolling in mud. And she had tears in her eyes, and she ran to God and said, "Listen, the pigs are rolling in mud. See what they are eating, rotten food. What kind of a father are you? Please give them a better life. Call them to Vaikuntha." Now, Sri Vishnu turned to Lakshmi Ma and said, "Do you think they want to come to Vaikuntha? I have no problem calling them to Vaikuntha, but they would not want to come." And Mahalakshmi said, "What makes you think that? That they would not want to come to Vaikuntha?" She said, Why do you say that?" And Sri Vishnu said, "Why don't you find out for yourself?" So she decided to find out. She called Narad Muni, the divine messenger. He's like the heart of the Lord, right? So he came. He said, "What should I do?" He said, "Please go take the chariot, the best possible chariot, and bring those pigs to Vaikuntha. I can't see their agony. I can't see their sorrow. I can't see what they're eating. It's rotten. Oh, please, Narad Muni, get them back." So Narad Muni goes. And he says, "There is a call from Vaikuntha. Mahalakshmi wants you to come to Vaikuntha." So Mr. Pig over here looks at, who is Lakshmi? Who Vishnu? Who are you? What is this? He said, "Come to Vaikuntha. This place is not as good as Vaikuntha. Over there, life is bliss. You will get nectar. You won't have to eat junk. There will be so much of peaceful life that you will not have any fear of being butchered." Butchered? Mr. Pig was oblivious of his fate, right? He did not know that he's being fed so much to be butchered later. So he said, okay. You wait, whoever you are. I will go and talk to Mrs. Pig. So he went to Mrs. Pig and he talked to Mrs. Pig. And he said, "There is this person called Narad. He wants to take us to some place called Vaikunt. Some people called Vishnu and Lakshmi are calling. Do you want to go? They say it's a good life. We live very happily over there." Now Mrs. Pig looked at Mr. Pig and said, "Will we be able to eat our rotten bread? And will we have mud to roll in Vaikuntha? If so, we can go. If not, what's the point?" So Mr. Pig said, yes, Mrs. Pig is very intelligent. So he went back to Narad Muni and he said, "Will we have what we eat?" "You," Narad Muni said, "you don't get such trash over there. There you'll get nectar. There you'll get amrit." Then Mr. Pig said, "Shoo, go away. Who are you? If we do not get what we are getting over here, why would we want to go and live in that so-called Vaikuntha? We don't want to come. Go away, and don't come back again. We are very happy living in this world." And Lakshmi ji was quiet. She had no words. And Vishnu ji went back to his yog nidra, telling her, "अरे भाई, मैं तो सबको ले आऊं, कोई आना चाहे तो." And that is the thing. The Lord, just like He's standing with Arjun, Krishna is standing right next to us, waiting for us to turn to Him in the times of agony and doubt and ask Him, "अरे कृष्णा, बता दो सही क्या है, गलत क्या है? अरे कृष्णा, हमें भी गीता का ज्ञान दे दो. अरे कृष्णा, give us the secret of the universe. अरे कृष्णा, please tell us. अरे कृष्णा, I surrender." कोई भेदभाव नहीं है. There is no partiality that Sri Krishna was for Arjuna and he is not for us. But we also have to have that love. We also have to have that desperate desire to know. We also have to have that faith in Krishna, right? For Sri Krishna to help us. That is the difference between us and Arjun. And this difference can be bridged. Of course it can be bridged. Vivekanand ji, so Narendra at that time, was sitting with Ramakrishna Parabhans. And he was sitting with Ramakrishna Parabhans and he asked, Who are you? This big question in Vedant. And Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, I am Ram. Ramakrishna, I am Ramakrishna. Oh no, said Narendra. Vivekananda, at that time he was called Narendra. He said, no, that is your name. Who are you? Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, that is what I am telling you. I am Ram and I am Krishna also. And Narendra, you are Ram and you are Krishna also. The only difference is that I have come to know and you do not know yet. The only difference is I have come to know and you do not know yet. Ultimately, we are the same tattva. We are that same divine. There is no difference. The difference is the knowledge. Sankhya Yoga. The true knowledge. And though Sanjay over here in the first verse of the second chapter says, what does he say? Let's read it. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Dvitiyodhyayah Sankhya Yoga Sanjaya Uvacha Tab Tatha Kripaya Vishtam Ashrupurna Kulekshanam Vishidantabidam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudana. Again. Tab Tatha Kripaya Vishtam Ashrupurna Kulekshanam Vishidantabidam Vakya Uvacha Madhusudana. Again, one more thing we have to remember. Sanjay is listening, right? He is listening and he is looking at the situation. He does not know, probably he does not have, but what Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, or what is happening in Arjuna's mind and what is happening to Krishna is being said by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra, right? However, what is the understanding of Sanjay? Who knows? As we always say, Ved Vyas ji said, I understand what is written in the Geeta. Shukracharya ji understands what is written in the Geeta, but I do not know whether Sanjay understands what is written in the Geeta. I do not know whether I understand what is written in the Geeta, whether you understand what is written in the Geeta, because Geeta Granth is also going to be interpreted based on our knowledge. जितनी हमारी समझने की शक्ति है. So ultimately, what is needed? Expand our knowledge, expand our heart, expand our horizons so we can understand what is written in this divine scripture. And over here he's saying, Tab tatha kripya vishtha ashrupurna kulekshanam Vishidantabidam vakya buacha madhusudana. He said, look at Arjun. He's telling Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is very happy because he feels that now that Arjun has put down his Gandiv, right? And he's sitting on the chariot and he's weeping. In this verse it is saying he's weeping so much. You know that weep of grief and agony. There are some tears, there are no tears. Puri eyes are covered so much so that his vision has been blurred because of the tears. He is so hysteric. And not only this, he is totally in agony. That the dwelling on the weakness, dwelling on what is happening, dwelling on that emotion of agony has made him a lot more sad than he was before. Never dwell on anything, huh? Never dwell on joy, never dwell on things, never even dwell on your sorrows. See them pass, see them pass, see them pass. Don't hold on to them. That is what makes you weak. Hurt does not make you weak. Holding on to the hurt, fear does not make you weak. Holding and dwelling on the fear makes you weak. And this is what has happened to Arjun right now. When he started, he was with, I will not give and I will not run. I will win my kingdom back. And up, Gandhi Binai, and what was the entire description that was beautifully given? His hands were trembling, his mouth was dry, his ears, his brain was not functioning, his entire body was shivering. He did not even have the strength to hold on his own Gandiv. His eyes were watering. And there was as if there was fire in his body, fire of agony in his body. Physically, mentally, emotionally, every form he was drained. That was Arjun, who said, ना तो हम पलायन करेंगे. Before that he said, ना तो हम पलायन करेंगे and ना हम देंगे. हम तो लेंगे हमारा राज. What happened? Dwelling. But again and again, Sri Arjun is not an ordinary person. He's a great elevated sadhak. And one thing he's not letting go of is Sri Krishna. No matter what the situation, no matter how dark it is right now, he is holding on to the Lord. And when you're holding on to the Lord, it is okay to fall 1,000 times as long as you don't lose focus. And Arjun over here is not losing focus. However, the description is such that it is saying that Arjun is having tears in his eyes. Because of that, he is unable to see. He is so upset that he is so full of vishad that he does not know what to do. He has put down his Gandiv as said. He is broken and beaten and he cannot fight the battle. Sanjay must be thinking and Dhritarashtra must be convinced. And Dhritarashtra is happy. That no respect is not, no. That king who could not see is happy. Up there will be no battle. Now my sons have won. If Arjun does not fight, this battle is as good as lost. Amazing. However, who is he addressing? What is Sanjay saying? After this, seeing this situation, Madhusudan, in every verse, we have to notice that a different name of Sri Krishna has been used, and that is very, very important. Over here, it is Madhusudan, the killer of the demon Madhu. The killer of a demon. Madhusudan replied, and the words that are written over here is Vishidanta Midam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudana. Again, there is something very important, very essential that is being said. What is going to be said is going to be very, very, very important. So Sanjay knows that looking at the condition of Arjun, Sri Krishna over here, who has been addressed as Madhusudan, the killer of the demon, is going to say something very important. And over here, Sanjay indirectly is telling Dhritarashtra that when Sri Krishna speaks, then we will know the course of the battle. Till now, he was quiet. Now he is the killer of the demons. He is the killer of Vishad. He is the killer of all the vices. He is the killer of all the fears. And if he talks, he will be able to pull Arjun out of his grief. So the opening stanza is where Sanjay, though says that the condition of Arjun is broken and miserable, he is refusing to fight. He is sitting with his bow and arrow down. Yet, now Sri Krishna is ready to talk to Arjun. Why is Sri Krishna ready to talk to Arjun right now? Because Sri Arjun has surrendered almost fully and he is willing to listen. Only when the time is right, only when the student is ready, will the teacher appear. Many a times the teacher is right in front of us, yet we are not in the receptive mode. We are unable to see the glory of the person sitting in front of us. We are unable to derive knowledge. Are bhai, if we have the capacity, we do not need food to run our bodies. Everything around us is feeding and is nourishing for our body. But we do not know how to do it. We do not know how to extract nutrition from thin air or water. These plants know, right? From the sun, from the soil, they produce their own nutrition. But we do not know that art. That does not mean that art is not available. That does not mean that knowledge is not available. It only means we are oblivious of the knowledge. And now Sri Krishna might give Arjun the knowledge to help Arjun fight his grief. So, O Dhritarashtra, don't be so overjoyed. The battle is not won yet, because Sri Krishna has not talked yet. And Arjun has not left Krishna yet. Till Arjun is holding on to Krishna and Krishna is willing to counsel Arjun, Arjun is not defeatable. Momentarily, he must have just stopped. As they say, right? When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're turning seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, you want to smile but you have to sigh. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. You want to smile? When things are pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Arjun has not quit yet. Arjun is on the chariot, but Arjun realized that his strength is not as magnificent as the strength of the universe. His knowledge is not as great as the knowledge of the Lord and the universe. He has realized he has emptied himself of the most important hindrance, the biggest hindrance to learning, that is his ego. Over here, we are not questioning self-belief. We are not talking or demeaning confidence. We are condemning wrong belief and we are saying overconfidence is not something that one should have. We will go on. There's a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn in Geeta. And the more we dwell on Geeta, the better it is. We become what we dwell on. So dwell on God. Dwell on every verse. Let the verse be churned in your mind thoroughly throughout the day. And see those scriptures speak to you. Before we end, let's remind ourselves that in order to understand, in order to know, one thing that is needed, which Sri Arjun definitely had, is consistency and persistence. Whether you like it or not, you keep walking. Whether you have the strength or not, you keep walking. Whether you want to or not, you just have to do. कहते हैं ना कि even if I try to stop myself, I will not let myself stop. Yes. It just so happened there was a village and it so happened that they made Indra angry. Right? Indra, the god of water, he got angry, rains and all, and he said, for the next 12 years, there will be drought. There won't be any rain in your village, no matter how hard you try. And after 12 years, only then will there be rain. Now, it just so happened that there was a correlation between the Dabru playing and rain. So it was said that even the only overriding factor would be that if Shivji played his Dabru. However, Indra had taken Shivji with him into confidence that Shivji would not play his Dabru for 12 years so that it does not rain, because he had cursed the villagers. Fine. So the villagers decided that nothing will be done. So there is no need to even try, because the land is all dry. So they put away their shovels, they put away their seeds, everything was put away, the bullock carts, everything was put away, and no one was doing their farming. However, there was this one villager, right? One villager. Alone, every day morning he would get up, he would tie he will take all his equipments, all his tools to do the shoveling and everything. He'll take his bullock carts, he would go on, plant seeds, start working every day in, day out. A year went by too. People said, are you mad? Why are you tiring yourself? Without water, your seeds are not going to sprout. And you know that for the next 12 years, there is not going to be any rain. And Ma Parvati up there would see this man toiling day in, day out, because he told the villagers, don't laugh at me. At the end of 4th year or 5th year, the villagers started thinking of him as a fool. So he said, no, the problem is I do not want to stop doing what I normally do as a farmer, because I'll become weak, and when the time is right, I will not be able to plow my field. I will not know what to do. I will lose practice. Hence, I am staying in practice. So that is why I keep plowing my field. I keep putting in seeds. I am always prepared for any form of rain. The villagers thought he has totally lost it, because he said it's not going to rain for 12 years. Indra has cursed us. He has the consent of Shivji. No matter what, it won't rain. You are silly to even try. Go home and rest. Why are you tiring yourself? But this man did not listen. Why should you bother about what people think about you? दुनिया तो जो अलग चलता है उसको बावला ही बोलती है, पागल ही बोलती है. No problem. Now Ma Parvati was watching everything. From up, she looked down and she told Shivji, look at him. He's toiling so hard. You're not doing anything for him. He said, I can't. Indra said, for 12 years there's not going to be any rain, so I cannot help him. See, he's trying. He's saying he will not, and he's trying his best so that he does not forget how to plow a field. But Ma Parvati looked at him and said, at Shivji and said, what if for 12 years, it has been 5 years since you played your Dabru. After 12 years, you forget how to play your Dabru. What will happen to you, Nath? And Shivji says, no. I will not forget how to play my Dabru. See, I'll show you. I still remember how to play my Dabru. And dum. Shivji started playing. Suddenly, there was rain. It was supposed to be a region full of drought for 12 years, but it started raining. And who was the lucky one? The farmers were sitting and ridiculing this poor man who was toiling. No, his seeds were there, his field was plowed, and when it rained, his field was ready to bear fruit. But this is what Arjuna is again all about. Even when there was drought, there was no rain, there was agony, he kept plowing the field. He kept intact his faith. And that is why the Lord decided to shower, and when Lord showered the shower of wisdom, he was there ready to take it. Arey bhai, this is what it is. So although Sanjay is saying that he's broken and beaten in this verse, over here is like, there is nothing that he can see. Although his eyes are clouded by tears and he is unable to see the world, his vision has not strayed from the Lord. He has not taken away sight from the feet of the Lord. अश्रु है, तकलीफ है, डाउट है, सब कुछ है, किंतु he is clear when he is with the tears, everything, with the agony. One thing, everything probably has shaken in his world. Everything is misfit, everything is misplaced, but one thing is fit in his mind. My Lord, no matter what, I can see you. I am not leaving your feet. I have left the Gardiv. My tears are in my eyes, but you are still in my heart. And I have left the Gardiv. I never left your feet, my Lord. And when such Arjun is born, Shri Krishna is compelled to sing his Geeta. He is compelled to sing his Geeta. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी अब जय बोलो हनुमान की. जय बोलो हनुमान की. जय बोलो हनुमान की. बोलो बजरंग बली की जय. जय श्री राम, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान.